Today I am heading to a small island which is only 4 miles long and 2 miles wide. This is known as Scotland's most accessible island because there's a very short ferry journey to reach it. The island that I'm going to today is called Great Cumbrae. I'll be filming this video today in partnership with Insta360, and this is a camera that can capture some really cool shots. I'm really looking forward to trying it out because some of the shots that you can get on this look like you're flying a drone and you can get such interesting perspectives. So I'll be using this and getting some great shots throughout the next few days and also sharing my thoughts on this camera at the end of the video. I'm here in Largs at the moment, and this is where you catch the ferry over to Great Cumbrae. So let's head on to the ferry. Okay, I have arrived at the area to catch the ferry in the centre of Largs, and there is Great Cumbrae just over there. It is really not that far at all. But the water is looking pretty choppy. Oh my goodness, it's splashing up onto the rocks here. The ferry to Great Cumbrae doesn't require any bookings. Once you arrive at the ferry terminal, you need to go into the Calmac office to buy a ticket. My ticket cost £9.60 for a return with a vehicle. Great Cumbrae is often just called Cumbrae, and it's located in the Firth of Clyde. Due to the short 10-minute ferry crossing, it's a popular day trip destination. Despite its small size, the island is home to around 1,300 residents. I have just arrived here on Great Cumbrae, and my first stop is going to be the main town here, which is called Millport. The ferry terminal on Cumbrae is located near the north of the island, and the drive from here to Millport is around 8 minutes. I have arrived here in Millport at the campervan stopover, and this is incredible. I need to go down and pay and check in, and then I'll start exploring the island. I'm really impressed with this campervan stopover. It's £18 to stay here for the night. That's for a small campervan with electric, one person in the winter. So maybe in the summer it's more, but the lady told me that they got lottery funding to build this campervan stopover. It's fantastic. I wish more places had campervan stopovers like this. There is no shower, but it has everything else that you need. I will quickly show you here in the campervan stopover. So in here, this is the area for the bins. Oh, it absolutely stinks in here. Okay. This is the bins. Okay, show you quickly, and let's shut the door. Oh, that is honking. And then over here, this is the toilet and water area. It looks like there's loads of places. I think about 16 different spots for campervans. In here is where you do all the other things with the campervan: grey water, fresh water, and black water. So let me show you. This is what it looks like inside, so everything you need here. So in the passenger seat area, I keep my foldable bicycle. It fits perfectly in there actually. And this island is known as the island of 1,000 bicycles because there are around 1,000 bicycles available on the island to rent. But I have my own bicycle which I'm going to use. It's quite popular to cycle around the loop on the island. If you go at a steady pace and don't really stop, it's meant to take around 1 hour. But I'm planning to stop at a few places and make the morning of it. Okay, I'm ready to go. And the wheels are nicely pumped up. I pumped them up before I left for this trip. So we should have no problems. Cumbrae's 10-mile loop road is a popular cycling route and takes about an hour to complete at a leisurely pace. If you don't have a bike with you, bike rentals are available in Millport. I have made it down here to the beachfront at Millport and I'm about to start the cycle around the island, but which way to go, clockwise or anti-clockwise? I think that is the big question. Since I drove from the ferry down to Millport clockwise, I think I will continue going clockwise. So I will cycle from Millport to the top of the island, continuing clockwise, and then work my way back. For my cycle around the island, I'm going to be using the Insta360 camera to film some action shots. The camera is attached to a selfie stick, which looks invisible when you watch back the footage. I feel like it's much easier to film using this camera while cycling rather than using a drone. There are also accessories you can get to attach the camera to the bike, which I might look at getting in the future. I've cycled through Millport to the other side. It is so windy and the wind is brutally cold. Just in front of me I can see the Isle of Arran and I can see the hills there and there is snow on them. Wow, they look really beautiful though. The island's loop features a sensory trail with an audio guide, allowing you to see, taste, smell, touch and listen to the sights and sounds of Cumbrae. I was reading online that around the island in all the parking spots there's all these signs saying no overnight parking, and they were put up after the motorhome stopover was built in 2021, I think the lady said. It's a great facility. I really wish more places and more islands had a wonderful motorhome stopover like that. The only thing missing is a shower, but the lady mentioned that they're trying to get funding to install a shower block and a toilet block, which would really be great because not everyone has a shower in their van. I've cycled a little bit further now and arrived at a war memorial. So it mentions here that this is a war memorial for those lost at sea from the Royal Navy, the Merchant Navy, the Royal Air Force and the Army. Trying to escape from the wind slightly. It's so much fun exploring an island by bicycle. It just gives a totally different perspective to driving because you're going at a slower pace. You can stop easier, you can take more things in, especially the views. It is tough going cycling into this Baltic cold wind. Oh, my face is freezing when I'm cycling. I'm putting up my scarf like this, but it's really refreshing. Oh. I've been cycling along and I came across some artwork on a rock over there and it looks really funny. I'm finally in an area that's a little bit sheltered here behind the trees. I think we're on a curve and the wind is not hitting us. Oh, so windy. The bicycle is great actually. I think because this island is flatter than Colonsay where I used the bicycle a few months ago. So it's not as challenging. As you can see here, the roads are pretty flat. There hasn't been any significant hills so far. The land on Great Cumbrae is used for farming, residential living and recreation. Tourism is a key part of the island's economy, with cycling, walking and water sports being popular activities. There's also a golf course on the island, which is near Millport. That's me almost at the top of the island now, and as I've been cycling, I've noticed that there's no other villages or even hamlets as I'm cycling around. The majority of the population of this island live in Millport in the south of the island, and it's quite interesting. I don't think I've come across an island like that before, where the population is so concentrated in one place. There's no rain forecast today. It's meant to be beautiful weather, but I've just spotted behind me those big grey clouds. They are not looking good. Another thing as I've been cycling is that I've noticed quite a few people walking the island. I've probably passed about 20 or 30 people walking around the island. Be a nice walk. I think they're doing bird watching because they've all got binoculars. I came across a memorial which commemorates the sinking of the minesweeper HMS Shearwater in 1917 during World War I. The ship was assigned to patrol around the Firth of Clyde, but was struck by a German mine on March 5, 1917, resulting in the loss of several crew members. Over there is Largs. That's where I got on the ferry to come over to Great Cumbrae. So really not that far, and the little ferry is making its way back and forth between Great Cumbrae and Largs. I'd heard it's possible to spot seals and even basking sharks and porpoise in the warmer months. Although I didn't see any seals, I did spot some seabirds and another Calmac ferry in the distance. I wonder if that's one of the new ones. I have pretty much arrived back at Millport, and I'm going to cycle into the town now, but between the ferry area and Millport it was so much easier to cycle because there was hardly any wind and it wasn't as cold. It was much more comfortable cycling on this side of the island. When I get to Millport, I'd like to explore a little bit of the town. There's a few interesting places to visit and also some shops as well. I am back here now at the campervan air. I really enjoyed the cycle around the island. It was pretty cold, especially at the beginning on the west side of the island, but it was pretty flat the whole way. It's a really nice thing to do for a day trip if you come here to the island. Here at the campervan stopover, looks like no one else is staying here tonight, and I've recently been thinking about that. In Scotland, it is so quiet during the winter. I understand maybe campervan travel isn't the preferred way of travel in the winter time, but just generally I think there's not that many tourists in the winter, but places are still really nice to come in the winter, and I wonder why the trend really is that places have this season, usually between Easter time until the end of October. That's really the main travel and tourist season in Scotland, when lots of the cafes and everything's open. But I wonder why. Why did that happen? I don't know. It interests me because there's still so much you can see and do in the winter. If anyone else has ever wondered about this, please let me know. Here in Millport there are a few things I would like to see, and one of them is really close by here to the campervan stopover, so I will head there first. Actually, I will show you the garrison house before I go to the next place, just while I'm walking past it. The campervan stopover is part of this building here called the Garrison House, and this building has quite a few different purposes. Garrison House was built in 1745 and originally served as a coastal garrison to defend against attacks during the Jacobite uprisings. After being devastated by a fire in 2001, the local community restored it, and it reopened in 2008 as a vibrant hub with a museum, cafe, library and community facilities. I next headed towards the island's cathedral. The Cathedral of the Isles was built in 1851 by architect William Butterfield and is a beautiful example of Gothic Revival architecture. This is Britain's smallest cathedral and it seats around 100 people. Let's take a look around. The cathedral is part of a larger complex that includes a theological college which now serves as a retreat and venue for arts events. I continued exploring Millport, the island's only town. It has a Victorian promenade which curves around the hilly bay. By the sea, I came across something called Crocodile Rock. Behind me is the Crocodile Rock. He's so cute. He looks very similar to the painting that I saw on the rock as I was cycling around the island earlier today. In 1913, local artist Robert Brown enjoyed a few pints before strolling along the promenade and noticing a rock that resembled a crocodile. Inspired, he went home to fetch his paints and brush and returned to create Crocodile Rock. Since then, it's been regularly repainted and become one of Cumbrae's most unique attractions. As I'm sitting here at the Crocodile Rock, I'm looking out over Millport and it's beautiful here. It's really lovely. I can imagine in the summer when it's the peak season, it's probably a hive of activity. All the shops are open, the bars are open, the sun is going down late, people are on the beach. It's probably a really nice place to come in the summertime as well. Look at that beautiful view. I think that's Arran in the distance, the Isle of Arran, and maybe Goat Fell. I've been to the top of Goat Fell. Couldn't see a thing when I got there though. I continued my walk along the promenade and enjoyed seeing all the traditional shops, cafes and pubs. I ventured inside the island's gin distillery, a small distillery founded by 5 friends who wanted to create a gin that captures the essence of the island's character and natural environment. Opened in 2020, it's one of Scotland's smallest gin distilleries, and proudly one of the few that is entirely female-owned and operated. Their flagship gin, Nostalgin, is made with botanicals inspired by Cumbrae's landscapes, including sea buckthorn, heather and elderflower. I've really enjoyed my time on Great Cumbrae and I've had such a good time filming my trip here with the Insta360 camera. I think the coolest thing about this camera is the invisible selfie stick because it's not clear if it's a drone or a camera that is filming you. I know I'm going to be using this camera loads for filming lots of my future videos because there's sometimes places in Scotland that don't allow you to fly a drone. For example, when I was on St Kilda, you cannot fly a drone there due to nesting birds. It's also quite challenging to fly a drone in towns and cities because sometimes there's an airport nearby, so you can't fly in that zone. Or if it's a high population density area, you sometimes need to get permission from local councils. So when I was in Edinburgh up at Arthur's Seat, for example, you need to apply for permission to fly a drone there. And that's where something like this, the invisible selfie stick, would come in so handy. The invisible selfie stick extends out so far and you can have the camera really far away from you, but then it looks like a drone. It is so cool. It is such a cool piece of technology. I've really enjoyed viewing back the 360 footage because it's nice to be able to capture 2 viewpoints at the same time. So because it's a 360 lens and it's capturing footage in every direction, for example, when I'm driving, I can film myself driving and steering the van, but then on the other side, I'm also recording what I can see outside the windscreen of the car. When you're editing it, you can choose your favourite footage. So you can spin the footage around 360 and choose what viewpoint you like best. You can zoom in and you can zoom out. For viewing the footage, it's possible to do it on the camera itself. You can also use the mobile app or the desktop app. The desktop app is very easy and simple to use. Sometimes editing software can be quite challenging, but I found it very easy to use and navigate. When I was watching back the footage, I also really liked how stable it was. So this camera has a great stabilization inside. Usually I'm using a Sony camera to film my videos, and the stabilization on that camera is not great. I've mentioned about that when I shared my video about my equipment that I use. But with this, it is so smooth. It's like just floating along, and it is so nice to watch back. It also films in 8K, which means it's very, very sharp and high resolution footage. The camera itself is also waterproof. I haven't tested it out yet, but you don't need to put any case on it. You can just use the camera like this, put it into the water, and it will record footage. So looking forward to trying that out in the summer when it's a bit warmer for swimming in the sea. I'm really happy with how this video has turned out using the Insta360 footage. I think it gives a different dimension to the video. You can shoot some shots at different angles, and I think this is going to be a really great part of my camera kit moving forward, especially for outdoor videos like when I go hiking or if I go to a bothy or something like that. This camera will be great to use. Thank you Insta360 for partnering with me on this video, and if you're interested to get an Insta360 camera for yourself, they are offering a free invisible selfie stick when you buy the Insta360 X4 camera. If you'd like to claim this offer, you can check out the link in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you next time.